Scaling to $10,000 a day in ad spend feels like a success for most advertisers. And this is where everything ultimately breaks, because as your CAC rises and LTV is not following that same path and other indicators I'm going to talk about in today's video, you will see the ad account have rising ad costs, which causes the funnel to now break and be unprofitable. And the worst part is that most people think they just need better ads. I just need better ads, I just need better creative, and that's the only thing they focus on. They ultimately put all the blame on Facebook or Google and the rising ad costs and the targeting or whatever update that these platforms come out with. You have to adjust not just your ads, but multiple parts of the business that I'm going to walk you through. And I'm going to show you today's video exactly why ad accounts break at 10K per day and how to actually fix it with a proven framework. So let's go down here to the board, and I wanted to show you like two quick splits of the difference between $5,000 a day on ads and $10,000 a day, okay? Because there is a small change that does happen inside of the ad account that's gonna make you realize why this matters. So at $5,000 a day on ads, you don't need as many ads, okay? You can have 10 plus unicorn ads at $500 a day. If I have 10 ads at $500 a day, it's 5K a day in spend. And creatives can last that long if they have unicorn ads. And finding 10 unicorn ads does not take that long, okay? I would give that like 2 to 3 months to find really good like 10 unicorn video/images, okay? Now, also at 5K a day, one high ticket sale a day to be profitable. If you sell anything high ticket, it's above 5K. Anything above 5K, you're just gonna get one sale a day and now you're profitable. Okay, it's a lot more different when you're at 10K a day in spend and you're paying 15% commissions and incentives to salespeople and you got a sales manager, because if you're spending that much on ads, you definitely have a sales manager and you have a bigger team. Which brings you to the last part, okay? You probably have a core team, but no more than 25 team members. So now you're spending 5K a day, you're spending $150,000 a month, your revenue per employee is probably really high. You gotta be doing at least 400, 500K a month or more at 5K a day in spend. And you got 25 or less team members. Your revenue per employees are high. Your margins are gonna be really good looking. But as you scale and get to $10,000 per day, your margins will decrease, your revenue per employee decreases, and now you gotta focus on other counterparts, okay? So first off, with 10K a day is your creatives. Okay, you have to be pushing them out bi-weekly to avoid fatigue. I see a lot of creative fatigue at 10K a day because you're pushing more spend into creatives. We're not just looking at, these 10 unicorn ones anymore. Now we're probably pumping out 10 to 20 creatives a week, and we're putting more money, that extra 5K a day, that's the difference between these two, which is the 5K in spend. Okay, that is now getting dispersed to all these extra creatives. And now we're putting the old ones, and they're fatiguing because the time horizon. Second is high-ROAS tracking is now necessary. You're taking on that cost. When you're spending 10K a day, you're probably touching near $750 a month to $1 million a month. When you're spending 10K a day, you got to realize that your high-ROAS account's going to cost you like, 5 to 7K every single quarter, okay? That adds another expense. Like as you scale your business and you take on more team members, you're going to have more expenses, okay? Your cost per calls are going to rise 30% plus easily. You used to get $200 a call. Now you're paying $270. That's pretty normal, okay? And now when you have more influx and more volume, your lead quality can tend to drop, okay? When you have more volume, now there's more ability for shittier leads to get to the surface. So now we have to increase lead qualification, which also increases lead costs, okay? And then we got to focus on sales routing and priority, okay? In Calendly or iClosed, you can route leads to certain reps that are better revenues or certain niches and verticals. And also you can put reps on certain priorities. So we know what reps perform the best so that when the leads come in the round robin, those leads go to X top 3 salespeople first. Then after that, they get dispersed to these reps. Okay, that's where you're gonna start focusing on routing and priority. And that's where you're gonna have weekly KPIs. Weekly KPIs are now a must. When you're spending 70K plus a week, you gotta hit certain KPIs. Either that's on, front-end sales, that's on ascensions, that's on PIFs versus split payments, some on payment plans, some on funding. Like, you have to hit certain KPIs to drive it forward so that you stay profitable while your ad costs rise. Okay, now, So here is what I suggest you do when ad costs are rising, okay? I always look at what my winning creatives are, and I always remake those winning ads. So I will look at the body versus the hook. If the body is always high performing, then I'm just doing new hooks in the beginning of the video. I'm doing new backgrounds, I'm doing new outfits, and I'm doing new like pattern interrupts in the beginning of the video. But as long as I know that that body is winning, now I gotta find new winning hooks. Okay. Second is focusing on price elasticity. I love when Hermosi talks about, when you increase price, that's the biggest lever to a business. I did that recently, and he's not wrong. Okay, we took our webinar package from 7,500 to 10K, and our take rates are actually just as high, if not higher. So now we have to look at, okay, if I have a 6K, if I take it to 8K, what's the drop off? What's the conversion rate? Is it the same? Okay, cool. Now let's go to 9K. And we look at where that price elasticity is, because as we scale, ad costs rise. We have to use this gap here, okay, to be able to pay for, you got commissions, you got, payroll. We can go all day here. But these things will add up, and it allows us to scale, and the increase in price gives us that gap, which is what I like to call the golden gap, okay? Third is we're focusing on sales calendar efficiency. Trimming down is normal. You might have, maybe you have 5 salespeople and one's like really not great. So now you'll trim down to like 3 maybe. But those 3 people are fully booked and they're high producing, which means now they're more motivated. And now they're going to crush it for you for even longer periods of time. Okay. And now ascension needs to become a priority. You got to find a way to get your clients quick wins in 30 days so that they wind up upselling into higher ticket products. So let's say they buy this front end 6K, okay? And maybe your high ticket is like a 20K. How fast, okay, we'll put a little clock here. How fast does it take for you to get from 6K to the 20K? And if they're not getting a quick win in 30 days, that's gonna make you focus on fulfillment. You got, your team, you're trying to hire A players, like all these things are really making its way in this pinwheel that you have to start realizing, okay? And now we got to look at LTV versus rising CAC, okay? LTV is going to allow us to understand, like, what's my lifetime value to every single customer, so I know that I can spend a little bit more on ads and kind of eat it, okay? And that's where we're looking at product ladder for your ascension, and also product ladder in general to see where conversion rates can rise, or simple add-ons can be added in the first 7 days of someone being a client. And then we're focusing on referrals, which comes down to fulfillment, which comes down to how fast do we get these quick wins. I don't care in any business. It could be a fucking e-com store for all I care. If an e-com store sells hair growth oil, how fast do they get results? They better get that shit quick within 30 days so that I can upsell them more bottles or upsell them the shampoo or whatever. If you're in the B2B space, how fast can I get this person their first client? It's got to be in 30 days so I can upsell them, which then leads to upsell. I get them to resign, and I also can get referrals from that. And this brings me to the last part, which is the difference between LTV and CAC, okay? LTV is going to reveal your product ladder and ascension take rates. If we don't know what products are getting taken at X take rate, then we don't know which one's working. So now we can fix our product ladder to make more money in a shorter period of time within that first 30 days or even on the onboarding calls. We get about 60% of our clients to buy organic on that first onboarding call. We also get over 80% of our clients to buy our AI setter for their webinar funnels on their onboarding call. Our take rates are high, but we're not going to stop there. We're going to look at ways to add other products. So recently added on an SEO and website department that we're currently ramping up. It's not going as well as I'd like. So there's things that I got to fix internally. So that's what I'm focusing on to increase this number, which is LTV. Okay, it reveals retention rates and ICP product fit. If my LTV is not high, it means that my retention rates are low, right? Which means that maybe my ICP that's buying is not the right product market fit. You could be selling it to somebody who thinks they need it, but is not the ideal ICP that would then later on actually ascend in a timely manner. The last part here is that it reveals the time the prospect stays in your ecosystem to build back-end opportunities and optimizations. Maybe you have to add things to the deliverables of the product, not just your product ladder, but what are we doing on the product delivery side? Is it an extra department? Is it more coaching calls? Is it a one-to-one aspect? Is it events in person? Like, what is it that's going to allow us to sit there and go, okay, well, clients are seeing results when they see X. So we have to build a back end, opportunity around that and optimize it so that they get the quick win, and then they can increase lifetime value for us because they're going to ascend. Okay. Now let's go to CAC. Okay. CAC is going to reveal the golden gap. The golden gap is where when we have a cost to acquire a customer and we have a certain price that we're charging, we got to look at the gap between those. And I want to be at around a 4x gap. So that's why I talked about price elasticity before. If you're paying $2,500 to get a customer, you better get 10K. Okay. If you're getting 3K, then you got to raise your prices to 12. Like, you have to play this golden gap. So you have room for payroll, maybe unnecessary expenses or things that just pop up, or you start running more ads and costs rise more than you thought. Okay. And when we have CAC, we're also focusing on creatives, right? We're doing that 10 to 20 creatives a week. We're looking at show rates, how to increase those. We're looking at our follow-up systems to see how we can squeeze more money out of the pipeline. Also, we're focusing on email. What are we doing with our email list? How much money are we making per month per subscriber? What about our organic? Are we posting once a day? Can we bump it to 2? Are we doing CTAs on those posts? What do those CTAs look like? What's the sales process? And affiliates. So what clients are we acquiring that we can also turn into affiliates to get more out of what we paid to get that customer? And now we're tracking CAC by sales rep and time per day. And we do this internally to where we see what sales rep costs us X amount of money per sale. And also what we do is we use GPT. We actually upload all of our Calendly bookings, and we upload to GPT with a list of our buyers. And we have GPT tell us what times per day are people buying the most. So we can optimize the calendar, even double book during those times, and get the most out of the sales calendar. So this is what I wanted to break down for you today, is the difference between LTV and CAC, and why most ad accounts break at 10K per day in spend. If you enjoyed today's video, please subscribe to the channel. It's completely free, and I will see you in the next video.